Hello, welcome to our presentation. We'll be presenting on how technology transformed visual communication and consumer culture. My name is Mahroosh Syed.
My name is BB Pepper Jones.
And my name is Michael Zhong.
So advertising has always been a visual communication tool to persuade people to buy new products or services. As technology advanced, we see that it transformed from physical signs to mass printing and AI personalized digital media. We'll be discussing how that evolved in our presentation and how brands communicate visually with consumers inform their desires. It's a constant personalized visual environment we see today, and we will be diving deeper on how that came to be. Next slide.
Okay, so let's go back in time that way before internet, even before newspapers, when visual images were greater than slogans and words, the Middle Ages. Let's assume a scenario. If you want to buy bread, how would you know which bakery was good? Or to put it more simply, where are you going to buy the bread? Because you couldn't just check Yelp or Uber Eats. There's no such thing like that in Middle Age. So next slide, please. So in Middle Ages, advertising relied on symbols, great signs, elves, and artisan trademarks. And there's very few texts because the literacy is low in Middle Ages. Most people couldn't read. It was all about visual images. So you walk on the street, you see a sign of bread, means bakery, a sign of sword, blacksmiths, a sign of boot, shoemakers. These symbols act as a universal visual language, whether you were in France or England. A loaf of bread symbol meant bakery. And the shopping in Middle Ages were very local. You buy things from the markets in your community and probably only that market. So the product influence is highly connected to the community reputation and social hierarchy. Next, please. And your trust came from your community. The great reputation, your neighbor's recommendation, or just saying the product right there. There's no mass media, no catchy slogans, just you, the sign, and maybe a friendly baker waving from the building. I'm done with my part.
So now we're moving into the Industrial Revolution, which is where advertising really starts to look at what we recognize today. During this time, factories were able to produce goods much faster than people naturally needed it. So companies needed to create desire in the public rather than just introducing products. It was a huge shift, and advertisement moves from being informational or something people need to something people want. Next slide, please. So new print technologies played a major role here. Steam-powered presses, color lithography, half-tone printing made it possible to produce high-quality images, logos, and illustrations at a massive scale. Instead of just listing what a product was, ads began showing who the product was for and what kind of lifestyle it promised. Um, so this is just like the first introduction to um, Coca-Cola, like that was the branding, and this is what they were starting to be known for. And the visuals were represented across newspapers, magazines, and billboards. Uh, Next page. So, for example, soaps and other tools people just didn't need anymore. It represented some type of cultural shift, whether that's for cleanliness, progressive, respectability. Um, Advertisers use emotional imagery, happy families, gender roles, or visions of modern life to shape what people believed as the good life. Because railroads and telegraphs connected distant regions, brand consistency became essential the same logo, same slogan, same representation of what that brand or product represented became so widely popular and started to branch into different social norms in society. It became a normalized idea for the personal identity to be built around consumption and what people saw themselves in the marketing or advertisement, whether in hygienic or patriarchal um, different ads. As you can see here, for Bare Skin Beauty, it's a soap commercial. They are advertising with a beautiful girl on the advertisement to show like a lifestyle it represents and how like one would look if they used that soap. Similarly, they were able to post in newspapers on how this soap um, helped age them more beautifully or gave them more beautiful skin. And that in itself represented an uproar of how people were able to be molded into thinking and consuming different products. Next page.
So in this next section, we're going to be looking at the digital age, which is our modern age, sorry, which has had the birth of modern hyper-personalized and targeted advertising. So the basis of our current advertising landscape is found in the rise of technological integration. Modern technologies have integrated into nearly every aspect of life, and advertising has evolved alongside this, including tools like AI and AR or VR. Today, social media and streaming platforms seamlessly embed hyper-personalized ads into the user experience. Important here is the disguise of digital advertising, meaning that ads are now often disguised as regular content. Social media ads often look like standard posts. Influencer content embeds promotional material into their regular highlights, and streaming platforms actively personalize ads and content in every person's profile. For example, we can see one of these ads that Mahroosh made.
The sound should have been on, but what's interesting is that even though the technology is new now, the goal is the same as it was in the Industrial Revolution to visually persuade consumers and keep them emotionally engaged. Now it's just more in your face and more alluring because of the constant moving imagery and hits of dopamine people get when they see these ads.
And I also wanted to add that I think that this ad also does seem very subtle. It seems like it could have just been somebody's, regular post or something like that. And I think that that was a very good illustration of the kind of like disguised advertisements we're seeing now. So this visual illustrates the three-step shift from traditional advertising to AI-powered dynamics and creation. First is the shift away from fixed and static images to responsive and dynamic images. Um, these images adapt to the audience context and the device that they're being viewed on. Next is the testing engine, which we can see in like the middle of the screen. AI-powered platforms like Canva, Bing Image Creator, and Tome quickly generate multiple visuals and textual variations for testing, which are then analyzed by artificial intelligence and predictive modeling, which uses data analysis to predict and select the single most engaging design for specific users in real time. So this ensures the maximum relevance and efficiency, like mindful morning or adventure fuel to another user. Here we can see another example of another ad that Mahroosh made. I will hopefully. I'm not sure if the sound was on for that one, but as Mahroosh explored, many companies have shifted to creating ads with AI, which lowers the need for labor creation and human beings. And these kinds of ads rapidly generate videos and moving ads and capture attention much better than static images. I didn't know if you want to elaborate more.
No, maybe kind of ch touched on like all the points because it's these ads are more prominent now, and there's different views out there for using AI in ads, but like it was said before, there's a huge shift in kind of embedding these visual images so quick and fast that the AI helps build new ideas for pushing marketing and consumptions out there.
So this slide illustrates how AI is actually actively creating highly personalized ads by learning about each user's specific digital behavior. So first on the far left, we can see how data is collected through algorithms constantly tracking user engagement patterns, including navigation, viewing time, and preferred aesthetics like vibrant or minimalist. We move to now the middle of the screen where we see the AI processing, where this data is then fed into the AI processor, which then generates a visual ad that mirrors the user's taste. This can also be called the mirror effect. For instance, the example here shows an ad with a vibrant nature aesthetic and an adventure theme, customized based on the user's clicks and preferences for warm weather and colors and assumingly outdoor activity. So
Mhm.
ultimately, the takeaway from this dynamic that's occurring with AI data analysis is that businesses are gaining deeper insights from this digital behavior, which is allowing marketers to use large data sets to target specific audiences and visuals that are then proven to enhance engagement with them. Moving here, this visual shows the continuous closed feedback loop system that modern personalized advertising has adapted and created. So the cycle begins with consumer behavior, where everything a user does online is tracked and generates data. This data then becomes the input for the second stage, which is excuse me, which where the AI informs the advertisement designing, and the AI then creates hyper-personalized visuals, which then increases the relevance psychologically for the viewer to persuade them to buy a certain product or engage with a certain product. And then finally, the ad design influences their new behavior. This results in higher engagement from the viewer, which then closes the loop, becoming the new data input for the next cycle. This makes the system cyclically nearly invisible and highly persuasive to the consumer and viewer. Next, we see this was a example image that I provided. So this image shows a very simple example of hyper-personalization in action using the same product but in two different viewers' feeds. So for user A, their algorithm knows that they like peace and calm, and so the ad features a cozy cup of coffee surrounded by neutral colors, dim lighting, and promoting sort of a kind of mindful morning ritual. For user B, however, the AI and data systems have gathered the knowledge that this user prefers adventure and high energy, so the ad features the exact same coffee brand, but shown through a lens with high energy action, with a young man hiking, and the phrase "fuel your adventure" at the bottom. The key takeaway from this exact kind of, different product marketing for the same product, though, is that the product remains identical, but the entire visual language and emotional appeal have changed dramatically to match the individual viewer's psychological profile. And this is the exact power of AI-driven personalization advertising. So I just wanted to quickly highlight here now, moving to AR and VR, the strategic value and reasoning behind immersive advertising formats like AR and VR. So first, it drives active engagement instead of passive viewing. These ads convert passive viewers into active participants, leading to higher engagement and dwelling kind of viewing time on certain interactive ads as opposed to traditional ads, which you just see passing the street. And second, this experience builds confidence and safety between consumer buyer and the distributor, as well as the product. Features like try before you buy reduce guesswork, leading to a proven increase in conversation rates and reduction in product returns, as well as increasing actual buying habits. And finally, it forges an emotional connection between the consumer and the company or product. It connects multisensory by connecting multisensory VR and AR experiences, we can create a much stronger bond and emotional recall relationship between a product and actually make memories about a product without having actually experienced it yet. So here are just a few examples of AR and VR ads that I created. So these images demonstrate the visual communication and how fundamental it is to shifting from just the broadcast model we had of, so many years ago to now the interactive and personalized almost simulation of most ads these days. And so first on the far left, we can see an AR kind of VR try-on feature where they integrate products directly into a personal spaces. This is a home ad where somebody's, scaling a sofa in their own house. And sorry. This again allows people to create memories and actually have an emotional connection to a product before actually purchasing it, increasing buying habits. And then again, we can see in the middle is a try-on feature for glasses where a user is allowed to virtually try on their glasses on their phone or computer and instantly see how if they would like it, if they'd want to buy it or try another feature. And finally, we can see that VR is extremely effective in creating immersive environments. And instead of just showing you a given product, VR allows you to actually experience that without being there and purchasing it, which builds a very deep and visceral emotional connection between the viewer and the product. So finally, how has technology fueled consumer culture? Advertising today is not an interruption. It is a hyper-personalized visual experience that seamlessly embeds itself into the user's digital life. Algorithms have created a continuous feedback loop wherein what users view shapes the ads that they receive, and those precisely targeted ads then, in turn, shape their future behaviors and consumption patterns. Hyper-personalization visuals make hyper-personalized visuals make consumption feel both necessary and continuous, fundamentally changing not only how we shop, but the brands we shop with and how we decide to interact with them.
So our overall timeline begins with advertisement having symbols and signs. Then we move into the printing press and standardization of what advertisements are supposed to look like. The 19th century is basically the plays the biggest role in showing how brands should show up for themselves. Industrialization happens and the industrial revolution happens, and then there's mass ads, then it's modern branding. Now people have time to be with their family more, not to think about their survival needs all the time. They can take some time off to spend in luxury and have the privilege to do that with the tools and products out there. And in order for them to even desire that, they start building these social norms of what they should want, what they should need in their life. And now the digital age uses those social norms within their current population through algorithms, AI, AVR, personalized advertisement to target people and not only push out what they want the consumers needs to have, but also in a way show that they have a solution to their problems, and the problems they're being created by the same system. Um, Next page.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing too. I totally agree with everything that you just said. I thought that was a perfect summary. I just wanted to add too that it's sort of now in like the digital age, we've moved away from like the mass like broadcasting and things becoming so personalized. It's created an entirely new consumer culture where we are ex almost expecting ads to cater to our needs and our habits and our online searches and input and what we like, what we interact with. And I just think that that's like the a really important highlight that now we're kind of creating this whole new consumer culture where we're expecting personalization as opposed to just, broadcast and whatever it even was, even of like 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, yeah. Thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope you really liked it. Um,
Thank you so much. Yes, hope you enjoyed this and thank you again.
just to note that the software is used in here where slides go for the templates, all the themes and characters. Dola AI was used by Michael for the field signs and AI imagery. Um,
I I used Google Gemini to produce the majority of my visuals on my slides, except for slide 19. The visual that I used was created using a Canva template.
and additionally, like the AI animated ad we saw alongside with the social media videos were used with the help of Canva. Um, yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.